Well, a couple other very important stillwater life forms that you find in most all still water and again, slow weedy streams are scuds and leeches. And we'll talk about the scuds first. Scuds are common in lots of our still water situations and in vegetation. Now, so far the insects we've spoken about, talked about, and looked at are insects that go through a growth life cycle and hatch into a winged insect. In the case of scuds, they don't. They don't hatch into a winged anything. They're scuds forever. They're commonly called in lots of places freshwater shrimp, and they really aren't shrimp, but that's a fairly common name for them. The ones that I've captured today, we see several different sizes and a couple different colors. We've got a nice big gray one and some olive ones in here in several different sizes. So, since they don't hatch into a winged form, there's just multiple generations of scuds in any area where they are found all the time, from very small ones to very large ones. Trout relish these. If you keep a trout from a lake that's full of scuds, you'll quite commonly find, and clean that trout, you'll find that the meat on that fish is bright orange, and it comes from eating these small crustaceans. They're very prolific in lots of lake situations, and in lots of places they're extremely successful as far as fishing. Again, we're fishing in underwater form, a nymph form, and they take on this very characteristic curved shape, so we tie our scud patterns in this curved shape and fish them very slowly along the bottom. They're usually best fished with a slow retrieve, kind of a slow figure eight retrieve. One of the other common places that we find scuds, and they can be very important, is downstream of a lot of our tailwater fisheries. And lots of the lakes that would form a tailwater fishery will have scuds in them. As scuds are very prolific, lots of them will wash through the dam, come out below the dam as excellent trout food. In lots of the stillwater, or lots of the tailwater situations, there's enough vegetation that they'll take up residence there as well. Another important resident of our stillwater community, and also many streams, is the leech. And the leech isn't an insect, but it is a very valuable and important element of the aquatic environment, and it's extremely important to anglers. It doesn't hatch into anything, but they do grow and get to be quite sizable in some situations. In many stillwater situations, we find leech imitations to be some of the most productive flies that you might fish on any given day. Quite often, you can imitate leeches with woolly buggers, or a lot of the mohair leech patterns, marabou leech patterns. There's a myriad of patterns that you can use to imitate a leech. And the most important thing as an angler that you might want to do is look at how you're going to fish that leech, because they swim in a very undulating motion through the water, whether it's in a river or a stream, or in a lake rather, and going through this undulating motion. This is the kind of retrieve you'd like to imitate with your fly retrieve. And if you're going to tie flies, you'd like to tie them so that they're weighted a little more at the head, or use a bead head type leech imitation, so that with a little bit of stripping, the fly will move through the water and start to sink, and as you strip it, it will continue to make this undulating motion through the water and be very attractive for the trout. If it has the right swimming motion, in most cases they make a charge at it because it's quite a tasty morsel they don't want to let go. Some excellent fishing opportunities and some excellent activity, both in still water situations and in rivers. Well, I hope you found an introduction to basic entomology interesting. We've tried to cover some of the common aquatic insects, stoneflies, mayflies, and caddisflies, and try to go through some of the elements that will help you better understand these insects and hopefully help you become a better angler.